Well, welcome back to Farm Technology Days just outside of Eau Claire. I'm Susan Littlefield, and we are now talking apples. Andy Ferguson joins us. He's with Ferguson Orchards. Where's your orchards located at, Andy?
We have a few different family orchards around western Wisconsin and eastern Minnesota. Our kind of what we consider our main farm is here in Eau Claire, just a few minutes from Farm Tech Days. And we also have in Trempealeau County, in Chippewa County, Wisconsin, and then on the Minnesota side of the river in Lake City, Minnesota. So all spread out in hopes of, if it hails or we have a frost in one, that in theory at least that it doesn't hit all of them.
I like that you bring that up because we always talk about the Great White Combine coming through, and we don't think about it affecting the orchard side of things, but I'm sure that is a big concern for you.
Yeah, I mean, every season has its risks to us as apple growers, like any crop. Apples are especially fragile, which is why we still pick every apple by hand. So yeah, we have a lot of measures in place, which is kind of what we're in Innovation Square here showing off today.
Well, let's talk about Innovation Square. You've got a beautiful display of apple trees, and what are you hoping that folks attending will learn more about the orchard business here in Wisconsin and Minnesota?
Well, thank you. We're really excited to be a part of Innovation Square here at Farm Tech Days. We decided to go all out, and we actually transplanted a whole orchard into our display here. So you can actually come see live growing apple trees, and that kind of showcases the modern style of planting, which is very different than a lot of people might think. If they have one or two trees in their backyard, they might be surprised to see a big trellis system and kind of tall, skinny trees. But that's part of innovation, part of what we're here showcasing to people.
Let's talk about the trellis, because we don't think of trellises when it comes to growing apples.
Well, we try to take care of all the tree's needs for it, so that all the tree has to do is concentrate on growing the perfect apple. So when we build a trellis system, we're supporting the tree, so it just naturally knows it doesn't need to create a big root system and expend all that energy. So it's able to really put a lot higher percentage of its energy into growing apples. Same reason why we irrigate. We drip irrigate instead of spray, so we don't lose as much to evaporation. We basically drip water right onto the roots and back where it came from. We try to take care of as many of those things as we can for it.
It is definitely a labor-intensive crop, and you've got to love the industry and the amount of time that you guys spend out in the orchards.
We do. I mean, it's not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. But yeah, we absolutely love working out in orchards, and it's kind of everyone's romantic vision of fall is walking through an apple orchard, and that's basically my commute to work. So we love it. The other thing that we do is welcome other families to our farms every fall. So we're pretty big in the agritourism industry, and just have corn mazes and wagon rides, petting zoos, all those kind of fun things to learn about where your food comes from without even realizing that you're learning it. You just kind of feel like you're having fun on a nice fall day.
So what type of apples do you guys have at Ferguson's Orchard?
Well, we grow about 30 different varieties, which is a drop in the bucket of the 8,000 varieties grown worldwide. We have a few favorites, though, and that's Honeycrisp, which seems to be most people's favorite. And then a few new ones, Pizzazz and Sweet Tango, that are really starting to take off. It's such a long-term game for us as apple growers. We can't change it up every year, obviously, so we have to kind of be fortune tellers on what people are going to want 20 years from now and try to plant that today.
I'm glad you brought that up. We've had the conversation many times here on this program. For example, the Cosmic Apple, when it came out, folks didn't know that it took 20 years. And it was a glimmer of hope from a researcher to what it is today. And you guys see that as well as you look at these new varieties that are coming around.
Yeah, by the time a variety gets planted at a commercial scale, it's already been really put through the rigors and tested by other growers around the country for different environments and scenarios. And really the last part of that no one really knows until they're growing is, how's the public going to respond to it. So luckily there are some pretty good apples out there, and we've chosen the winners.
Andy, do you guys ship apples?
We do. We use a packing house, so indirectly through us, but the majority of our apples do end up in grocery stores and retail chains throughout the Midwest.
So somebody watching and listening to this says, hey, I'd like to purchase some of the apples that you guys talked about today. Can they go to your website, or can they call you guys to say, hey, I need a bushel or two shipped to me?
Absolutely. Yep. They can go to fergusonsorchard.com or find us on social media, Ferguson's Orchard and Pepin Heights stores, another store that we have. Really, I think the best anyone can do is come to the farm and actually pick their own, or buy in our store, because a lot of times we have apples picked that morning that are bagged there. So that's just, no matter way you cut it, how you cut it, that's a little fresher than we'll get from the grocery store. So.
That is another example of where your food comes from, literally getting to go out and meet the folks that have grown these apples, pick them for yourself or have them already picked and bring them home. Well, that is more that we've had right here from the Farm Tech Days. I'm Susan Littlefield on the Rural Radio Network.